So I'm going to take the cake and transfer it onto a board and then coat with buttercream. Before doing anything, I just want to make sure that I check the weight, so that just going to transfer the cake in here. Right in the center of the board, and then just want to detach the frame. Don't really want to press too much on the top because the buttercream, it will start softening. Just going to try and undo it. Gradually. It's probably a little bit stuck. Okay, just a little bit more in here. Okay, good. I don't want to press too hard on the top because it might crack or it might deteriorate the nice finishing. Okay, just going to set this right in the center and then peel off the cling film. Okay, so again, just putting that on the board, on the scale. So I've got 1973 kilograms, so 25 grams less 2 kilos. So I just want to make sure that I know exactly how much buttercream goes in here. So I'm going to start by applying a big blob of buttercream. Now what I have to do is to kind of do it fairly quick so that the cake doesn't start producing condensation. And I also don't want to see any traces of the berry color, so I have to put a thick layer and keep the palette knife in contact with the buttercream rather than with the cake. So just applying a thick coat, spreading from the base to the top. Again, with my palette flat. That avoids actually the crumb coating if it's done properly. So hopefully I'm not going to get any berry color showing through, because by the time I cover with a thick layer, part of that butter, which is going to be in straight contact with the cake, it will firm up. The cake is cold, so it will firm up the buttercream. And when I will start smoothing to make nice, that layer of buttercream will stick to the cake, and will have no problems with the crumbs or the color. Okay, good. So I think it's all good now. Just looking to see if I've got any areas missed in here. Just a few spots of confit. Okay, and I'm going to use the scraper with the scraper 45 degrees on the board. So keep going around to remove the excess. I have to just position the board in the center of the turning table. Okay, and I'm going to look at the cake and see where I've got a few gaps. So obviously where I've got the gaps, it means that I'm missing a little bit of buttercream, so I'll just put a little bit more buttercream in there, in here as well. Trying to bring that buttercream right on the edge, on the top edge. Same in here. And again, just scraping to tidy up. I need to make sure that if I put my scraper on the board perpendicular, there is no light coming through as I'm looking to the back. So if I will do that, that means the cake is straight. If it sits on the board and I've got a bit of a gap on the top, it means that I've got too much on the base. That's how I can judge if the cake is straight. Okay, and just looking, just a little gap in here. Now the buttercream I'm using is has been quite aerated, so it does have few air bubbles. So when you don't want to have those air bubbles, you usually have to work your buttercream a little bit, so that when you smoothing the buttercream before applying it onto the cake. That can be done on a surface, but also by just going repeatedly over the surface with a scraper. It can also help to sort out the surface. Okay, and now I'm going to cover the top. The top of the cake is quite neat, as we had that cling film on the top, so it's quite nicely leveled. I just have to do the edging and maybe just do a few touch-ups here and there. Just keeping the palette knife flat on the surface. Okay, and going around again. And again, just cleaning the edge. Okay, that looks quite good. So I'm just going to get a cloth. To wipe the board and scale to see how much buttercream we've used. Oh, again, I've popped my finger by mistake, so have to touch up in here. And let's put some on the top as well, as I've noticed a little gap here. I can see a little bit of cake on here. Good, that's good. And again, just shaving off the excess. Great, super. So let's see how much buttercream we've used to coat. So we've got 2, 2, 3, 5, which means 25, 50, 250 grams of butter. Okay, that's how much we use to coat our cake.